Welcome to this week's episode of Inside the Headset presented by CoachComm. This week, we are featuring the 2023 FBS Coach of the Year Roundtable. In this discussion, Florida State head coach Mike Norvell, Northwestern head coach David Braun, and former New Mexico State head coach Jerry Kill dive into the culture they've established in their programs, challenges and defining moments from the season, and how they have developed as coaches. But first, a word from CoachComm.
Deuce left, check with me. If they're in quarters match, we're going to Pittsburgh or Ohio.
They're in zero.
Let's go Hippo, Seattle, wide choice. If we call the protection right, it's 6.
When a play call is the difference between winning and losing, your headset choice could be your most important decision. When the call counts, CoachComm is the only choice for clear, dependable communication. Visit CoachComm.com for more info.
We got it, guys. Good job.
Now, let's get inside the headset.
Welcome, gentlemen, and congratulations on incredible seasons and being named Regional Coaches of the Year. Appreciate you guys taking the time to be with us today. Start off talking about a little bit of culture. Culture is a word that gets thrown out in our profession and athletics a lot. That kind of falls into some different categories contributing to success. Obviously, you guys have had very successful seasons. Love to touch on culture and how it may have played a role, Coach Norvell, in your guys' season this year.
Yeah, you know, it's we have a hard-earned culture. You know, I think that everything you do within your program, from years past, building up to the opportunity that you have. I mean, it's you take every experience and you've got to grow from it. You know, we talk a lot about our response and to all situations, to the good, to the bad, to the ups and the downs. But you know, for us, it was incredible. You saw a team that you know, guys that came from all different backgrounds that came together to truly have a special season. You know, for us, it starts with the work. And it goes back to January, whether it's our winter program, we call it our tour of duty, spring practice, the player buy-in, the player accountability within each other, and then really just the relationships, because you're going to find all those times throughout the course of a season, throughout the course of individual games, where you're going to have those critical moments, and to see a team come together, and for us, it's about trying to find like-minded individuals that build that trust through the work, through the experience, and you just saw our confidence grow through each and every one of them, and it was definitely a big part of what contributed us to having the success that we had.
Yeah, appreciate you sharing. Yeah, work. There's no substitute for hard work. You got to put it in. Coach Braun.
Yeah, I think Coach said two words that really resonated with me. Number one, experience. You know, what are your guys experiencing when they walk in the building every day? And then Coach talked about response, and I think our season that we had and the story that our guys were able to write for themselves all circles back to response. We navigated some difficult things this year, and I really challenged our guys in July. I said, guys, we're looking at some extreme adversity, some uncharted waters, and everyone in this room, has a decision to make. We can stare this thing down together and respond in a way that we get to write our own story, or we can tuck tail and run.
Yeah.
And I'm so proud of the 103 guys that made a decision to stare that thing down, stare it down together. And as the season went along, loss at Rutgers. Well, we responded with the win against UTEP. Got our butts whooped against Duke. Responded and came back and found a way to beat Minnesota. Sure. Lose to Penn State, come back and respond the following week. And the response I was most proud of is our guys just showed up every single day and just made a conscious, intentional effort to improve. And that's what it comes back to experience. When you have position coaches, when you have people in the facility that are pouring into your young men and they're responding to that coaching and taking that seriously, I think that's when you start to see teams that are playing their best team football at the end of the year, and it's special to be a part of.
Yeah, absolutely. Appreciate it. Coach Kill.
Well, I think my answer is probably a little bit different because of a different situation.
Yeah.
We took over a team that ESPN said we were the worst football team in the country.
Yeah.
And so what we did is I came up with 9 things, from hard work to academically or whatever, and I put them on the scoreboard every day. And I didn't even talk about winning and losing.
Sure.
I talked about these things that you have to do. Mm-hmm. And once these things happen, then we'll talk about winning and losing. And so that kind of, and I didn't come off that standard. I think, and I was tough early.
Yeah.
If you're soft early, you'll never make it. So I was tough early, and then, you know, you have to spend more time with your players as a head coach than you've ever had to. And we had morning breakfast where all our coaches had to be there.
Awesome.
And I told them, don't talk about football.
Sure.
Talk about life.
I love it.
And then, you know, I think the biggest thing is, and I used to not like them at all, is we have a talent show. Okay, you got all kinds of different people from all different places. And we had a little gal come in that was one of our assistant coaches' daughters, and she's kind of a country gal, and she started singing two or three songs.
Yes,
It was amazing. That whole room, I don't know how they knew the songs, but they all gathered together and were singing, you know, together, jumping around, and that's when I said, you know, we got a chance, because through camp we made it so tough that these kids have come together, and I think they believed in the coaching staff, because when you never win, and we had a little background going in, you know, that helped us, and we started off not very good, and but I think because of the bond, and we kept the coaches for 2 years, never lost a coach, and that's more important than anything, and so we got a little bit lucky. That's part of it.
Yeah.
I think Coach Gill hit on it, just that you talk about the standard for what it's going to be, because culture is what you make of it. But is there a consistent standard? And you know, I love you have the 9 points before you even get to a game. But it's you hear the old saying, how you do anything will be how you do everything. And when you have a standard of pushing for excellence and just your best, what that might be, this year, it was the third time ever in Florida State history that you got 13 wins, and to be able to do some really neat things. But we also had the best team GPA ever, and so it's like, being able to have that, that standard of operation is just, guys build confidence through that, and it's whether a program's won before, or players are doing it for the first time. When you have coaches that pour into who they are, beyond just a jersey or the position, man, it can be pretty special.
And for all the viewers out there watching right now, these three gentlemen who are the regional coaches of the year talk about living that standard. They were all here 30 minutes early getting ready for this, so it's something you do every single day, and there's a reason why they're sitting up here. Challenges, obstacles, there's things that come up throughout the season. There's things that come up throughout the off season. There's all kinds of things that come up during successful seasons as well. Just maybe if you could come up with something, possibly a game, maybe one game where you felt really catapulted the rest of the season, just some type of challenge or obstacle that you guys went through this season that you felt really helped you guys on your journey to be successful. Coach Norvell, I was going to go ahead and start with you.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of different moments you could point to, but probably the biggest obstacle, we lost our quarterback, in the 11th game of the season, and he is just one of the all-time great Florida State Seminoles, and he's a special player, special young man. Goes down in the game, and team had to respond, and for everything that we needed to do to rally together. I mean, it was a devastating moment. I mean, it was something that our hearts all went out to him, but you have to pick yourself up and go and be the best you can be in that time, and to be able to win that game. The next week we play one of our biggest rivals on the road, with so much on the line, and to see a team rally, and then in that game we had a quarterback, our backup quarterback went down, was unavailable for the championship game, and you saw a team that just came together, and against the odds, against maybe the expectations, and probably against a lot of people's desires, we found a way to win, and we found a way to do it together as a team, and it was something I will never forget. It was one of the greatest feats that I've seen, is just a team be a team, and with a tremendous adversity, and you're really a devastating event that occurred. I mean, they believed, and they believed in what they could do, and it was really special.
Yeah, that's awesome. Thank you for sharing. What a moment, Coach Braun.
There's a lot of moments that come to mind for me in the way that our guys, our young men, just continued to find ways to push through adversity, build confidence, continue to galvanize as a team. But the one thing that we talked about a lot and continue to talk about quite frequently is just eliminating interference, in a world of social media, in a world of, outside opinions, in a world of, a lot on our guys' plate, from their academics to their requirements with football, an age of NIL where they're trying to, tap into some of those opportunities, which is great, but there's just a lot going on. And I was just really impressed with the way that our guys were able to channel their focus into things that they could control.
Yeah.
They could control their process. They could control their passion. They could control their urgency. They could control the way that they showed up to meetings with intent and the way that they practiced. And I think our guys started to realize the power that exists in that. When you really focus on the things you can control and start to ignore and eliminate the things you can't, there's power in that. And it was neat to see the maturing process and the leadership on our team that really led by example in that way.
And I think one thing that I love about the American Football Coaches Association and our convention is you talk about social media and those things. You can go walk through our convention and seeing so many coaches not on their phones, embracing each other, big hugs, so much can't hear because it's so loud. And sometimes you go recruiting and you walk through a high school and you're weaving through kids because they're not looking and they got their heads down. And being able to lock into a common goal, a purpose, and whatever it is, to be able to block out anything in life is awesome. And it's neat to hear you say that, so I appreciate you sharing. Coach Kill.
Well, I think, again, is that with us, we had a lot of moments, when you're in a situation that we're all in a different situation. But, again, I go back to, I haven't changed since I was coaching high school football 40 years, ago. It's about the same thing. And, again, you keep those standards and you don't go off them. But as a coach, when you lose, you can't change either. When you're 1-5, my first year we were 1-5, we didn't change any routine or anything we were doing. Now we might have lightened up practice a little bit because we looked tired or whatever it may be, but we never came off as a coach any different. We coached the same way. And I think our kids, respected that. And then we talked about, we're going to win. It takes time. And we used to take a victory lap because we hadn't had any victory laps in Mexico State. So that's how we start. That's how we start. We'd go make a victory lap.
Yeah.
So they'd understand that this is a part of winning.
Yes, sir.
But we've had so many moments there that I can't explain them all. But probably the biggest moment in the Mexico State history is that those kids, we kept getting better and better, and then we went to Auburn, and nobody, thought that we had a chance, but those kids did, and they had that chance because of all the stuff they went through.
Yes, sir.
Because we got off to a bad start. I mean, we were, I don't know what it was, 1-3 or something like that, and then we started winning, and they gained confidence, and then when we were fortunate to beat Auburn, then the confidence, just gains. But, along with the bad things, you still got to have some good things, but you got to be consistent in your coaching. You can't be like this. You got to be.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Sitting in the presence of great leadership with you guys here and your programs. If you could help maybe give a story or something that you do within your program to identify leaders and maybe how you do leadership. Some people do councils, leadership groups, different things like that. Just touch on something you do with leadership with your players within your program, Coach Norvell.
Yeah, we've something we instituted a few years back is we have a team council, and something that our players get to select, and kind of you get a sense of that influence. And just because you're on the council does not necessarily mean you are a leader yet, but it is somebody of influence. And I think that's where you can lead people down the right path, or you can also take them down a bad path if your actions aren't to what we're all trying to achieve. And so that's something that we started. We try to build that leadership throughout all of our classes, and we'll do things with it as a team. Sometimes break it up by actual academic classes of just trying to provide some of the resources and tools to help guys lead. But really it comes down to consistency of action. And I tell our players all the time, and I tell our coaches, sometimes we have to be the example for them. Coach talked about how you respond in when you're 1-5. We were 3-10 our first 13 games at Florida State. We're 0-4 to start a season. Lost to an FCS opponent. Something that nobody ever wants to do. But we had to go and show players how we wanted them to respond as a coaching staff. And if you're not consistent in that, then how real is it? So just really, being able to have guys on that team council to be able to have open conversations, to get a sense of where guys are, and then also to be able to provide them with tools to help them influence and to be consistent for ultimately where we all wanted to go. And that was something that I think has been good for our team, and really it's helped inspire guys to step up and step out. And once you put yourself there, then what are you going to do with the opportunity?
And now, a quick word from StatsBomb. Transform your analysis with StatsBomb. Our intuitive platform gives you an edge by saving you hours of analysis time between games, uncovering new insights, and speeding up transfer portal assessments. It harnesses the power of our aligned tracking and event data, delivering details at 10 times the granularity of legacy suppliers. This wealth of data includes in-depth physical metrics, groundbreaking visualizations, and comes with support from our experts to ensure you can confidently make the best decisions for your team. Let's change the game together. Now, let's get back to the episode.
Yeah, and talking about influence, I appreciate you sharing that, because you can definitely influence people in the wrong direction, and being able to identify that, make sure people think leadership and it's all just good. Well, leadership can be ran the wrong direction as well, so being able to identify that. Appreciate you sharing. Coach Braun.
We have a leadership council, something that Coach Fitz had done a long time prior to my arrival. Excited to get into this offseason and again, allow our team to vote on who's going to sit in those chairs. Been so impressed with the leadership that exists at Northwestern and the quality young men that we have in our program. The thing that I've really pushed our group on is I think, especially in today's generation, and I can be guilty of this as well, of saying, well, I lead by example. I show up, I work really hard. I set an example for everyone around me. And what I've really communicated with our guys is, guys, that's not really leadership. That's building credibility. When you lead by example, you're building credibility, and that credibility. Sometimes you get some young guys that want to just start speaking up because they want to speak up. Oh, Coach, I'm leading. Let's talk about helping you build some credibility first.
Yeah.
But when you lead by example, when you show up with consistency, and you build that credibility, now it's time for us to become active leaders. And Bryce Gallagher, our starting Mike linebacker, who we will miss in so many ways, but he was epitomized what active leadership looked like. And in my time at North Dakota State was a player-run program. A lot of great coaches that have come through there that set the tone, that built that program. But at the end of the day, we won championships at North Dakota State because we had player-led locker rooms.
Yeah.
And what I experienced this year was a player-led locker room. And as coaches, I think it's absolutely critical that we understand, and I had to learn this at North Dakota State, is when you have active leaders, when you have Bryce Gallaghers, there are moments when those guys are ready to step up and do what is needed to truly create that player-led environment. And as a coach, you have to be willing to step back and allow that to happen. And, we had a lot of that on our team this year, but Bryce Gallagher epitomized that in so many ways.
Awesome. Appreciate you sharing, Coach. Coach Kill.
I've done it 40 years. That's a long time.
Sir.
And been through 6 different programs and to build them, and they are all been different, from team councils to,
Sir.
It's different because you can pick the wrong ones and you're in trouble.
Sir.
And so in our situation, going to New Mexico State was a little bit different. And is that what we did is, the cycle would be, they'd be named at the beginning of the season, and that's when that cycle would start. But I got our strength coach involved because he sees all the players every day. I got our academic people involved, and we sat and visited about it and said, okay, who is the first one in the practice? Who's doing everything you ask them to do? And of course, as a coach, can they play? Because you can't be a leader unless you can play.
Yes, sir.
And we would go through that, and and see who the kids respect. And so really, the people then in that group of people that we met with really helped us pick the captains, and we couldn't afford to make a mistake. So that helped us kind of filter in to what we did, and then again, if they couldn't lead, and then we put somebody else in there.
Yeah.
But usually, I've never done it that way before, and this is almost like an experiment. But you know, with our coach, you know, the coaches have a different feel for it.
Yeah.
But I got everybody on the same page that worked with those kids. And they said, this is a kid that's consistent. He's going to do what you ask him to do. And he's a heck of a player and all that. And that's basically how we did it, because we could not afford to make a mistake there, our credibility when it went like that.
Sure.
And probably got a little lucky doing it that way, because it's hard to change.
Yeah.
And but I felt we had to, because we were so bad at the start.
Yeah, well, and congratulations, Coach, on your career, 40 years, incredible success, and awesome. So congratulations on that. Change a little bit direction here. Talk about personal growth for you guys as leaders of your program. Obviously, 40-year career, taking over a program for the first time as a head coach, very successful, multiple stops. It's maybe something that came up this year in a successful season. People talk about there's all, growth and challenges and things like that, and I know y'all endured challenges this season, but in incredible successful years, maybe something that came out for you with some personal growth. Coach Norvell?
Well, I mean, I think you see as the college football is definitely evolving. There's so many different elements of that we're having to balance, but it's the importance of every decision. And I think that as you come in, and I was beyond fortunate to get an early opportunity to become a head coach, and I've learned through a lot of mistakes. I've been around a lot of great coaches, assistants, that have helped guide us to having some success. But as you see the world we're living in change, whether it's transfer portal, obviously the NIL world, all the different elements. It's making sure that you stay true to who you are, what you're in it to do, and and consistently work to make the impact. Because at the end of the day, I believe in the program we run. I believe in the foundation of what we're trying to do, and the young men that we're trying to help achieve all the goals that they have, while developing into the men that they're going to be off the field. And I think that's. You can get caught up, just like Coach talked about the distractions that are around there. Well, that can happen for leadership and direction, and obviously the guidance of a program if it's only about one thing. And we stay true to making sure that we're getting the right fit for Florida State and who we recruit and what it looks like. Everybody's got a different background, whether it's junior college or transfer, high school, but making sure we're staying true to those core values. And that's. I would say throughout the course of this year, I mean, that's where I've built confidence within some of our, decisions just through that experience, because it's still about building a team. And you can go chase the biggest, fastest, tallest, strongest, all of those things, but if they're not the right fit for your program, then it's going to have a detrimental impact. And we stayed true to finding the right guys with the right heart, the right mindset, and bringing that together. It's really pretty special when you build that team and family that gets to go through the journey that we've just been on, and that's what sets you up for the future. So I guess to answer the question, is just the confidence in staying true to those values.
Yeah, absolutely. Appreciate you sharing, Coach. Coach Braun.
I think the thing for me that I've learned over the course of the last year, specifically over the last 6 months, is when it comes to personal growth, step one in personal growth is intentionally taking time to actually invest in yourself. As coaches, all of us that are doing it right, which I know many of us are, and the guys that are sitting up here certainly do. We're doing it to pour into young people, to help young people develop, to have positive impact, like Coach is talking about. But sometimes we forget to invest in ourselves. And for me, I've done a really good job of it the last 5 years, the last 5 months. There's been some ups and downs in carving that time out, but starting my morning off with prayer and, getting into scripture and find 10 minutes to read a book, or just find something that's, pouring into me. And I think what that's allowed me to do is just a reminder in the morning of, why am I doing this? What prism am I looking through in terms of every decision I make? Because, my gosh, Coach, I never could have imagined the decisions that come across your desk as a head coach. And some things that seem huge and other things that are minute, but they're all important. And I had to quickly realize, okay, what prism am I looking through in making these decisions? And for me, it came down to what's in the best interest of our student athletes. And but carving out that time for me has been absolutely critical. And I think part of that comes to, you know, staying active as well, you know. And again, I'm a hypocrite for saying this. I need to do a better job of that, especially in my new role. But, you know, we're better versions of ourselves when we're investing in ourselves. We're serving our players more effectively and our coaches and our staff more effectively when we're investing in ourselves. And I'm guilty of sometimes saying, that's selfish, or I can't step away from the office. But you know what? It's in everyone's best interest that you do that for yourself. And I'm really preaching to myself right now, too, because I need a better job of it.
Well, appreciate you reflecting back on that. And congratulations with the successful year you had with the challenges and obstacles that you had to deal with. Coach Kill.
You know, again, doing it a long time, the only reason I've stayed in the profession is the players.
Sir.
You know, and I've enjoyed it, you know, my whole career. It hasn't been a job.
Yeah.
I had a job when I was baling hay and doing all that stuff. I've loved every second of it. And it's getting more difficult.
Sure.
There's no doubt about it. But, you know, I always talk to the players about, you know, what we're teaching you in this arena is teaching you what's going to happen outside this arena.
Sure.
And there's going to be 1% of you go play in the National Football League, and that's why I hired an NFL liaison guy that's been in the front office and all that type of thing to make sure that helped. But, you know, I think you got to be a player's coach.
Yeah.
And you have to talk to those players all the time.
Yeah.
You know, if you get on a player, I always tell our coaches, you got to go to the locker room and you got to take care of that player. You know, maybe he had a tough day. Maybe you got on him. But before he leaves that locker room, I want him feeling good. And because if they don't feel good and they don't look good, they don't play good. And so, you know, I think the closer, and I would tell the coaches that are going to continue on as head coaches, you know, with all this stuff going on, you know, and you're still going to lose kids. But if you know you've done everything you can and you develop that relationship, you at least make them think. And but what they've taught me, you know, I would tell you they saved my life back in 2006, and I was had, you know, stage 4 cancer and so forth, and those kids stuck by me, and at New Mexico State, you know, they believed in us because we had living proof coming in, but more so is how we dealt with the kids, because we didn't have the money.
Yes, sir.
You know, that's legit. So what I did is, you know, whether the administration liked it or not, I really don't care. But in equipment room, you can give us, you know, you can give them stuff and everything. Everything legally I could do, I gave to the players.
Sure.
And because we didn't have facilities or anything like that, and they were so appreciative of whatever we did there, because it never happened before. We built credibility.
Yeah.
And they said, man, this old man loves players. And you have to adjust. I've had to adjust, you know, through the years. I had to become one of them. Everybody goes, why is Coach Kill dancing in the locker room? I had to be one of them.
Sir.
And I think the more things you can do like that and what you see makes you a better person.
Yeah.
And, you know, they help you sometime as much as you help them.
Yeah.
And even though it's frustrating,
Yeah.
you know, it's always going to be a little frustrating, but at the end of the day, you know, I can't stand cell phones because nobody knows how to communicate, and so you got to teach them to communicate, you know, and, you know, it's a heck of a lot better to say, Coach, boy, I'm proud of you. You did a great job, you know, instead of texting you and go, hey, you did a nice job. I know people got fired on the text message, you know, go talk to people.
Yes, sir.
And that's what I tell coaches now. Go talk to kids. Don't text them.
Yeah.
You know, I tell kids, don't text me.
Yeah.
You come see me. I don't want to see your notes. I don't want to see no text.
Yeah.
So I just think that we've lost, you know, we've lost that personal touch
Yeah.
that we've got to have, or, you know, this thing's going to go. You know, already is going this way. So the only chance we got is at least to be able to live with ourselves and say we did everything we could.
Yeah.
And then I think in closing is that, you know, is that when something happens, before you go to the practice field, because something every day happened at our place, you don't take it to the field.
Yeah.
You just march out there, you be happy, you do what you do, and you don't act like anything bothers you.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're best guy, something happens, you just, you just keep on going, and then I think the kids go,
Yes, sir.
he cares about the ones that needs to care about.
Yeah, well, I appreciate you guys sharing. There's a lot of challenges and obstacles in our great game right now. But on Saturdays, they put that football, and for the viewers, Fridays and high school games, they put that football down, they kick that ball off, and it's the same darn great game that we've been playing for many, many years. So, gentlemen, congratulations on being named Regional Coach of the Year. We've got different coaches at different stages in their career, and I appreciate y'all sharing. I wish y'all the best of luck in 2024. Coach, wish you the best of luck. Congratulations on an incredible 40-year career, and look forward to following you guys' great success this next year. Thank you once again.
Thank you.
Appreciate it very much.
CoachComm has been delivering tough headsets for tough teams for more than 31 years. It's why 97% of FBS teams and thousands of high schools across the country rely on CoachComm. Get the best for your team. Visit CoachComm.com for more info.
Thanks for listening to this week's episode of Inside the Headset, presented by CoachComm. If you'd like to learn more about this week's episode, head over to AFCA.com. There, you can access every episode and find corresponding show notes. Remember, you can catch every episode of Inside the Headset presented by CoachComm on wherever you get your podcast, including Spotify, Apple, and YouTube. While you're there, we'd love for you to take a moment to rate, review, and subscribe to the podcast. Your feedback helps us improve and grow. Keep up with the latest news by following us on social media. Connect with us at Inside the Headset, and remember to tag us when you share your favorite episodes. For more updates on all things AFCA, be sure to follow the @WeAreAFCA social media accounts. If you're not a part of the AFCA community yet, visit AFCA.com to join thousands of NFL, college, and high school coaches nationwide and across the globe. Elevate your coaching game with an AFCA membership. You'll gain exclusive access to the annual AFCA convention, magazine, digital library, and AFCA Insider email. Stay up to date with the latest stories and news on the AFCA website. More than just a convention, the AFCA offers continuous education, guidance, networking, and more. Celebrate the past and shape the future with the AFCA. It's about fostering exceptional coaches who create outstanding teams and even better individuals. Invest in your skills and make a lasting impact today by engaging with the AFCA. Your journey starts here.